Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be looking at r/best of Redditor updates, and it seems like a baked potato, or a jacket potato as we would call it here in the UK, is causing a big old kerfuffle. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in listening to with me today, please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please, thank you. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm being delusional because I want to do it by March. You know, that might be a bit delusional, but what do we have if not our delusions? Okay then, so this one was shared to the subreddit by Lucy Aria Rose, and the title says, "Am I the butthole for eating my entire baked potato?" So obviously Lucy Aria Rose is not the original poster. They are the person who compiled it and posted it in Best of Redditor Updates for us. The original poster is TCatDactyl46. So we have a trigger warning for a mention of vomit, so all you emetophobes, maybe find a different video of mine to listen to. And then mood spoiler all around odd, but seemingly a happy ending. So it was originally posted December 5th, 2025. I, 26M, am writing this after what I thought would be a nice dinner spiraled into a huge argument. Tale as old as time. For context, a few days ago, my fiance's, 27F, parents invited us over for dinner. The planned meal was a steak with a baked potato and green beans. I have been with my fiance for 6 years, engaged for the last 2, and the first time she ever saw me eat a baked potato, skin and all, she was a little confused, but laughed it off, and just said, "Just don't ever do that around my mum, ha ha." I never thought much of it, until today that is. Why would you not be able to eat the skin on the potato? That's like the best bit for you, and if it's cooked right, and it's nice and crispy, it's so good. Dinner started off well, general chit-chat about work and some discussion about football. I'm an Eagles fan and her mum likes the Broncos, so there's always some playful banter there. The food comes out, they say a little prayer, and we start eating. Everything is fine until I start digging into the potato. Her father tilted his head a little and looked at her, but didn't say anything. The issue arose once her mother noticed and looked at me like I was the most disgusting and foul thing she'd ever seen. I didn't notice at first until she audibly made a gagging sound. Bit dramatic, don't you think, mother-in-law? Her mother then got up and ran straight to the bathroom. Both my fiancé and her father went to check on her, and I was left sitting there confused as hell. A few moments later, her dad came back and politely asked me to leave. What? I asked if something was wrong, and he calmly explained, as I've been told before, that his wife has some dietary issues, and part of that includes potato skins, and that seeing me eat the entire potato made her nauseous. I apologised and left. About 10 minutes later, as I arrive to apartment, I get a call from my fiancé. I answer and she immediately starts yelling at me, but calling me an ass. I'm taken by surprise, as I didn't expect her to be so upset by this. I try apologising, and she cuts me off saying I'm inconsiderate and rude. I start to get upset, but before I can say anything, she says, "Whatever, we'll talk in the morning." I tried calling her back, and she sent me straight to voicemail. I've sent her multiple texts, but she has not read them. I really am confused as to if I'm really the butthole. No. Definitely not. Like, obviously her mum is skeeved out by people eating potato skins, but it doesn't mean that they can control what everyone else does. I'm sorry, but if you know that you have that reaction to people that eating potato skins around you, why would you serve potatoes with the skins? Serve something else. Don't make that if you know that it skeeves you out. It's not hard. Top comments. No Function 223 says, "Not the butthole. If her mother is that sensitive to other people eating something she doesn't like, she shouldn't serve it." Precisely. Or at the very least say something before vomiting. Beyond dramatic in my opinion. But seriously, if the skins make her act like that, I honestly cannot understand why she wouldn't just serve mashed potato instead. Legit drama queen right there that set herself up. Exactly. That is exactly the way I see it as well, personally. So then, Pie's my baby, but if she did that, everybody wouldn't be talking about her and paying attention to her. She might not be the centre of attention for 5 minutes. Can't have that. And by the way, I don't actually see anywhere where the OP says that the fiancé or anyone explained to him, oh, don't eat the skins in front of her because it will make her ill. Obviously, the fiancé said, oh, don't do that in front of my mum, like jokingly. Like, unless he's told, how is he to know? So, one rainbow unicorn says, not the butthole. What the actual F? If someone eating a potato skin causes her to vomit, perhaps she should not serve potato skins, for fuck's sake. A potato skin is the most nutritious part of the potato. Exactly. The way your fiancé is behaving is out of line. How dare you eat the food my mum served you? Get the fuck out of here. Don't marry into this family. Technical Tangelo 143 says, please don't. They're unhinged. For real. 100% drama factory. Yeah, and being like, oh, can you please leave? That's so weird. If anything, maybe they could come out and been like, oh, this is why that's happened. You know, this is a tad embarrassing for everyone. Sorry, you know, just at least now you know. But being like, can you please leave? As if they've just like kicked someone in front of them, like kicked the dog or something. Also, if fiancé knew that eating potato skins would make her vomit and hate her partner, why the actual wouldn't she tell him beforehand? She set him up to fail and then yelled at him about it. And another thing, I always eat my entire potato. Eat your whole plate was always the rule in my house. Yeah, same in my house. Not eating the skin seems weird and entitled to me. So then Super Reading 2048 says, not the butthole, but OP, you should be seeing some serious red flags. I would not marry her, or at least not until a year of couples therapy, and you are absolutely 100% sure your relationship is healthy. And then they bullet point some red flags. Red flag number 1, she should have told you why her mum would react badly if you ate potato skins before you ate dinner with her parents. Exactly what I said. Red flag number 2, her mother could have served a meal without potato skins, mashed potato, or even fries in the air fryer. Red flag number 3, when her mother acts crazy, your fiancé gets angry at you and blames you. If you marry her, you better brace yourself for that pattern of behaviour. Yeah, this needs a strong conversation for sure, if he's going to continue on with the craziness. So apparently there's no consensus spot on am I the butthole, but a majority of the comments were not the butthole. Yeah, I don't see how it could possibly be that OP would be the butthole, really. Unless it was other potato skin haters in the comments going, no, you're definitely the butthole. Update, same post, December 6th, 2025, next day. Update. Okay, I know that maybe y'all weren't expecting an update, but here we are. To start off, to the handful of people saying that this is fake, I don't know, man. I wish it was fake, but I can't really do much to change your minds. Second, saw a few people ask about the steak. It was amazing. Anyways, I did read a lot of comments last night before bed, and I did start contemplating calling off the engagement because everyone made good points about their behaviour and the handling of the situation. I decided to sleep on my thoughts, and this morning I woke up to a couple of texts from my fiancé, her father, and her mother. Her mother actually apologised and asked me to call, so I did. Well, I'm glad she apologised. When she answered, she sounded like death and proceeded to apologise again and explain that all day yesterday she'd felt a little off but kept a brave face as she didn't want anyone to worry. Turns out she has the flu. What the hell? Oh my god. It gets worse. Inviting people round for food when you have the flu. If you think you're coming down with something, perhaps postpone. I don't know. She kept apologising profusely and said that she was indeed a little grossed out by seeing me eat potato skin because she'd never seen anyone else do that. What? But she wasn't gonna yuck your yum had it not been for the sickness. I'm sorry, but I feel like kicking you out and asking you to leave was kind of yucking your yum. Apparently, after running off, she did indeed vom, but she also felt extremely weak and got the chills. It was so bad that she went straight to bed. She also told me that she talked to my fiancé this morning and that there was a reason that she lashed out at me so badly. It better be a good one. I'm telling you now. I'm warning you. Turns out I'm gonna be a father. Oh, imagine having to find that out through your mother-in-law who vomited because you ate baked potato. This is all a bit weird. Her mother explained that my fiance bought her a light breakfast and they sat talking about what happened at dinner. During the conversation, my fiance apparently knocked over a teacup and became overly distressed and started to tear up. This prompted her mother to question if she could be pregnant. After a quick stop at the pharmacy and 4 pregnancy tests later, she was right, which honestly does explain her moods being different this past week. I don't want to be a stereotypical man, but I kind of assumed it was her period. Oh dear. My fiance's text was an apology and a picture of the 4 positive pregnancy tests. I really think that should have been a face-to-face conversation. I did call her as well, and we discussed how she'd lashed out at me. She apologised multiple times and even started crying about how she doesn't want to ruin 6 years. Her father apologised for asking me to leave and said that he only did so because my fiancé seemed so upset and he thought it best to give us room before anything harmful could be said. I'm still processing all of this roller coaster, but yeah, her mother doesn't see me as a disgusting creature. Everyone apologised and things seem fine now. Although now I'm worried I might get sick since her mother let me try a sip of wine from her wine glass last night, so right, she gets grossed out watching someone else eating a potato skin, but she'll let them put their germ-riddled lips on the glass she's drinking from and also let them put their lips on where her germ-riddled lips have been. Make it make sense! Sorry if this isn't the end you were hoping for, but I'm glad things weren't as bad as I thought. OOP's only comment. Blazerboy123 says most Reddit comment section I've seen in a while. OP, take a break from the internet. I'm assuming that they're referring to the fact that everyone was like, leave your fiance, break up. I mean, no, I wouldn't be leaving someone over a baked potato. I would certainly be saying this is weird. Please explain, for one, and for two, we need to have a good conversation about boundaries. OOP says, dead ask, didn't think anyone would care this much about the situation. Like, now that everything is said and done, I see why people were so quick to jump on fiancé and mother-in-law, but given everything else, I'm more understanding about it. I've seen people continue to say that I'm a severe people pleaser and that I should leave, but this is the only time any argument or disagreement has spiraled this far, and that's why I was so confused about it. Anyways, I'm going to take your advice and leave this post be for now, especially since I've got bigger fish to fry. Haha. Editor's note, marked as concluded because OOP's question about the potato skin was answered. I'm very glad they got their answers, but my goodness. So down in the comments of the Best of Redditor Updates post, Hyperfix says, I have to say that out of all the possible things, a surprise baby reveal is not what I expected at the end of this potato post. Honestly, me neither. Okay, so that one didn't take anywhere near as long to read as I thought it might do, so I think we will go through an Am I the Butthole or two that I have saved down here. So this first one was shared by Katie Reuter. Am I the butthole for ending my marriage without therapy less than a month before Christmas because I'm tired of being treated like a monster because I believe my stepdaughter needs therapy? I hope my title made some sense, but if not, I will try to explain. 8 years ago, I, 33F now, met a younger widower, 35M now, who had a 6-year-old daughter, 14F now. He and his late wife had technically been separated at the time of her death, and so he was ready to move on, but I believe his daughter needed help, and a few times before we got married, I said as much, and I was told that she was just more reserved by nature and she'd come around to me in time. This wasn't just my husband saying this either, his whole family was saying the same thing. They told me the proof was in the fact that she wasn't being blatantly rude or disrespectful, and wasn't throwing tantrums or acting out. I tried to build a good relationship with my stepdaughter, but the more time moved forward, the less it seemed likely or possible. She wasn't outright angry, but she wouldn't open up to me or willingly spend any one-to-one time with me. She spent one-to-one time with her dad, but at a certain point when he and I had our first child, this also changed. Once I was pregnant with our first child, her behaviour did change. She started getting angry, started cursing at me, and yelling at her dad for having another baby. She told him he betrayed her mum and she wasn't going to accept our child as a sibling or accept him being a dad to someone else's baby. After I gave birth, my husband did put my stepdaughter into therapy, or so he told me, and he said he realised help was needed. But when I was pregnant with our second child, I found out that this wasn't really true. He instead took her to classes that were supposed to prepare kids for being an older sibling, and it was meant to help to get them excited for a younger sibling. This was going on for months before I realised, and he argued at the time that it was a form of therapy. I mean, I guess you could argue that, because it is him trying to tackle the whole issue of her being so, pissed off about having a new sibling on the way, and it's supposed to help get her excited and help prepare her for what to expect. So I do get that. However, having a child that's lost a parent, proper therapy would be ideal. I started speaking up more about my stepdaughter needing therapy, and it was at that point that my husband and his family were acting like I was some monster. They asked me why I kept trying to force the issue, and why I couldn't accept her the way she was. While all this was going on, I never left her around the kids. She was also moving stuff and hiding stuff on me whenever she was home. She moved, hid the baby bottles, my phone charger, diapers, my phone, and many other things, even food. She would say in front of the whole family that she hated the kids and she wished they had never been born. But they were shocked and didn't know what to say to me when I said she needed therapy. They said they felt like I was saying that there was something wrong with her, or saying that she was a monster. I told my husband actual therapy was needed or I would be done. He told me I needed to trust him, as he's her parent and he knows her better than I do. Well, I mean, I'm not being funny though. In the 8 years they've been together, she's done nothing but get worse. So clearly, what your husband's doing is not working. So he needs to accept that the daughter does need therapy. From what the OP has said, if that was my kid, I'd be like, they need a little bit of therapy. They need a little bit of help with regulating their emotions. They're obviously struggling. They're obviously feeling pretty friggin' miserable. Let's do something about this. Thanksgiving was my final straw. She told several of her cousins that she was going to break all her siblings' toys and she was going to make sure they were so fucked up from this Christmas because she hated them and wanted them to pay. Yeah, no, that's not okay. I wasn't the only person who heard this, but I did insist that that was exactly why therapy was needed, because she was bragging about wanting to upset her siblings. Yet again, I was the monster though. Even my husband refused to accept that she needed help. I was tired of being the monster because I believed my stepdaughter needed therapy, and a lot of therapy at this point. That night I slept on the couch, and the next morning I told my husband that I was done. I waited for the next day because I asked my parents if me and the kids could stay, and they didn't get back to me until very late. My husband wasn't expecting me to say it was over, but I told him I was done, and I explained why. I have already filed for divorce, and to my husband, will be ex, and his parents, that is the worst thing. They keep making a point out of leaving before Christmas, and we never even tried therapy with my husband. Oh, so therapy's fine for the adults to go to, but when it comes to the kid who is acting out and basically starting to display some very concerning behaviour towards her siblings, therapy's not okay then. Make it make sense. Christmas and not going to therapy have been sticking points, but I wouldn't go with him after everything. He already lied to me once. He and his family have been calling me a monster, and his daughter is giddy about terrorising our children, which he has zero issue with. Am I the butthole? No. The stepdaughter, should I say, is displaying some really concerning behaviours, being excited about trying to upset the kids because she hates them. If he continues to let that behaviour spiral, it could turn into her being excited about trying to assault them. It's concerning, really concerning, and the fact that he doesn't seem bothered by that, yeah, no, I believe him with those two kids too. I'd be like, I'm not risking it. I'm not leaving them here for your child to torture them, you know? Because I genuinely think it might get there. With the dad making excuses for her behaviour as well, it's just going to make the stepdaughter think that everything she's doing is A-okay. So, down in the comments, Extreme Juju says, not the butthole, you should have left long ago, but good you are finally getting out. The only monsters in this are your husband and his stupid family. They are so in denial it is pathetic, and to the detriment of your stepdaughter who is becoming a monster. All thanks to them, not you. I would never, ever allow your children to be alone with him because he is in denial and because she will potentially harm, abuse your children. He needs supervised visits. Yeah, I fully agree there, to be honest. Unless, of course, he takes the stepdaughter to some serious intensive therapy, because I really think she needs it. I wouldn't be letting my kids go there. No way. Especially when she's made direct and excited threats. Like, that's something you will hear in a true crime podcast, you know? So the OP then replies to that saying supervised visits are not that easy to make happen. Yeah, I do understand that. It is tricky because you've got to prove without benefit of a doubt that the kids would be at risk. And if you don't have like paper evidence or video evidence of her saying stuff like that, it's going to be quite tricky to prove. But you never know. I have some proof of all the things that have happened, but in all honesty, there likely will not only be supervised contact, but 50-50 custody is the most likely outcome. I severely hope not. I honestly should have never married him. I should have trusted my own gut and should have never listened to what my husband and his family said. And I learned a very valuable lesson about trusting my instincts and not blindly believing everything will turn out okay. Honestly, your gut is so valuable when it comes to deciphering whether you should or shouldn't do things. Like, don't get me wrong, having a huge anxiety disorder myself, I understand that sometimes your gut betrays you entirely, but actually I think anxiety and the gut are two very different things. So your gut is the logical side of you that's picking up on little things subconsciously that maybe you aren't picking up on in the forefront of your mind, I feel, and is trying to tell you, I've picked up on these things, I'm seeing some stuff, and I don't think this is a good idea. Anxiety is just like, I've taken everything in and now I'm going to make a big old story out of it that's a load of bullshit. It's two different things and it's two different feelings. Anxiety, I tend to find, I don't know about anybody else, but my anxiety tends to be quite illogical. So yeah, I do myself struggle to decipher sometimes whether it's just my illogical anxiety brain making mountains out of molehills and making things seem worse than they are, or if actually I should be listening to my gut instinct. But I honestly do think if something is telling you, do not, big red flags, don't pass go, at least, you know, you're allowed to pull back a little bit and go, okay, so I'm feeling unsure about this. Let's postpone this for a little while. Let's do the X, Y, and Z, or let's have X, Y, and Z in place before I do this so that I can go into this comfortable and in the knowledge that safeguards are in place for myself. Okay, so I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. If you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, notifications on, that is your initiation into the Coven of Void. Welcome. Oh, and comment. Don't forget to leave a comment for the algorithm things. Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye.